Seabirds. Were the mornings moored to sparrowhawks? You came with me first to Tulum, green sea. The cabana we rented was a thin forest, sun landing on the sand floor between brown branches of walls, and the palm leaves dry overhead. The bed sprung full and hard, mosquitoes at night. Afternoons we loved best. We loved. A woman spied us from outside through the gaps. I hung up a blanket and came back to you. Everything now becomes a letter to you. The sun on this spider's web, the mornings moored to seabirds. At Rush Cove. Things, objects inspired in him the highest respect, tables whose cloths conjured dreams and feasts. At Rush Cove with your parents on a late summer afternoon, we wrestled up wooden horses and old doors, laid them out end to end, and threw cloths over them, set some 30 places. We snuck away to your cabin where time and the light slipped away from us in delirious strokes, moving in the loft to the rhythm of oars on a shaded river, curving past reeds and rushes and the slap of waves into inlets where no one would find us. Deep blue dusk had fallen when we finally climbed down. There was a moon and the murmur of voices rising to a clamor in the field as we came closer. Duck sausages on the grill, arugula and pear salad in bowls, pickled wild leeks in vinegar and maple syrup. With red cheeks and starry eyes, we joined the feast. The window where thoughts were composed in the lovely order of half-closed lashes. Back in the city, you still craved open space. 100 times you stood at that window, 1,000, looking out to where your thoughts composed themselves in the open space above the limits of our enclosures, above the train tracks, the roads, and the treetops that moved gently, wisely, as though they might reveal some secret. The lamp that he carried in his fist, its light always leaning towards evening. Arriving at Rush Cove again after dark, we fill our arms with blankets, food, the guitar, and follow the dark path carved out by years of contemplation, years of quiet gratitude for this place. The Coleman lantern is in your hand, its light leans forward, creating a pact between us and the night. West. It is a lull, your death, a hush. Unholy, holy, horrifying. How can I begin again? A voice tells me to move, just keep moving, so I've come to the west. And here, far away, long hot days, I can begin to believe you are waiting for me. And imagine the small, tender things I'll say when I get back. I'll tell you about the phosphorescence, how the sea was like the sky, when I'm cradled again between your chest and your arm in the soft crook of your shoulder. The sound of water. One night the lightning pulled me out of bed. The sky was oddly calm, air almost noiseless, in spite of the bursts and bolts striking through pale clouds some miles to the south. The rain had not yet reached us. I had a thought to call a cab and watch the storm with you from your expanse of window, an excuse, a thunderstorm, but then I remembered that the window faced north and it was very late. 2 days later, you were killed. Now, this October, a cold rain that feels like November, pooling where my rain cape ends and before my boots begin in dark, cold patches of denim. I watch the way the patterns of rain and wind crisscross over the surface of the pond. But it is the sound of water more than the sight that carries me away, swirls and somehow is the culmination of all things, all thoughts. And I think of what someone said, how you hold a dead bird in the palm of your hand and it becomes all death, all things dying. I think of the way water has of moving endlessly and unconsciously, the way water can carry you away and simultaneously call you back to yourself as though you had never left, your blood moving like red and blue birds in the mornings. One day I will know the words to describe the extraordinary joy mixed with sorrow that I felt again last night. Many nights I lay awake willing that joy to enter me, and finally it would come, warm knowing tingling through my blood like stars. In those moments I was wild with happiness, but even the time it takes to write that sentence makes this not wholly true, because the very moment I felt it fled through me, I was rocked by a sadness just as deep, and it became such that the sadness was the vessel, the ocean floor, and the love was the water that filled it. One day I will know the words. One day I will know the words to describe that extraordinary joy, standing with you at the lookout. Love, tonight at the edge of this sea of stars, I don't need words. All there is here, a light from the beginning of the world, and this warm knowing, in us and all around us, stars tingling through our blood. It is us, our edges erased. Love, tonight we are full. One day I will know the words to describe that extraordinary joy mixed with sorrow. Love does not leave, how could it? The heart that was a well so full gets buried in a metal box, but the love cannot die. Only, every time I think of it, every time I unearth it by accident or with resolve, there is something just as huge that looms, a skyscraper over a humble garden. At the foot of the CN Tower there is a garden with the most delicate leaves, golden oregano, thyme, lavender. And so the love grows quiet in the presence of such looming sorrow, but it is still fed somehow, nourished by the forgetful earth, the faithful earth. But when will there be a forest again, rich in oaks and birds? When will there be winter green, low and shining, ferns intent upon their spirals, and the strength of old trees that have known such slow growth and reach so patiently, ceaselessly, towards the breathing sky? When will there be a forest? Red Devil. I am climbing this dark mountain. All its edges call for me to fall and keep falling. That red devil Death scuttles close behind. I hear the clatter of his papier-mâché skeleton jostling like hooves on hollow rock. Then suddenly, up ahead, how does he do it, that devil? He vaults from atop a rock, slinging his limbs and grinning at me, that ghastly painted grin. I seize his leg and swing so hard, his glue and paper head smashes on the ground again and again. But I cannot break him. I cannot kill that devil Death. If you could see me, you would laugh, not unkind, at me with such determination creasing my brow. Laugh lines I loved fanning from the edges of your eyes.